Part 2 of mounting tram wheels on this beautiful little digging machine here. In part 1 I drilled a whole collection of holes in these wheels here. In this one, of course, also in the other one. And also in the faceplate for my lathe here. But this plate was not at all adapted for this machine. In fact, it's the very first time I mounted on this one. So I had to adapt the holes, so bore them out and then countersink. But now it's installed. And I need to use the faceplate to be able to install these two plates here. And of course also the wheels. Because here I'm gonna cut some kind of rim. And this plate is gonna fall into it. So I have to cut a circle. And to make it a little bit easier, I centered both plates together with a small and tiny cute little bolt here. And this assembly will go in the lathe and cut them both at the same time. So I will have 2 times exactly the same. Of course, if I install my plates here directly on the faceplate to cut this rim, I'm gonna cut in here. And to prevent it from happening, I will put some nuts between two here. Which means I have to cut out the threads, because of course the bolts will not work in this nut and in the threads in here at the same time. So over to the drill press. As you can see, it's running more or less center, so that's good. And even if it's a little bit off, that's not really a big problem. Now I installed my little boring bar because of course I'm at the end of travel of the cross slide and I'm just out of reach to use another tool here. But we'll see what happens. But I'm sure this poor little insert is gonna receive some beatings. a little bit more. I think it went very well. And what's next on the to-do list is of course to cut a shoulder in this rim here, where this plate will sit in, so that the surface of the plate here will be flush with this little surface of the wheel, which means 7.6 deep and a diameter of 265. Of course I have memory problems on my blackboard. I still don't have the right bolts to hold the thing in place here, but I found a mix of different bolts and I think it will work. Right, let's do this. Is there some kind of hard spot in here, maybe? Nope. It's hard rust, that's all. Before I continue, first I will take off all this junk that's in here. Because on camera you don't see it, but it smells when I'm cutting it. And now it's my cutting tool that doesn't cut anymore. I think this is perfect. Right, let's do the other one. And here it is. Now, I did it without you watching because I don't think it's really useful to show 2 times the same operation, but whatever. Right, I think the fit is really nice, really noisy. Just a little second here. There is a small part of this video missing where I explain that I found a piece of pipe and I did a test fit on the machine itself, and it is a tiny bit too small. So now you know here's the rest of the video. If I hammer this thing on the hub, on the machine, maybe I can never take it off again. And that's exactly what I don't want to do. So my idea is to cut a slot here. Weld one here, and then drill a hole in this one and drill and tap in this one. So I can put a bolt between two here, and then it will pinch this pinch system. I think that could work. Let's first start by cleaning up these little pieces here. I have 4 because of course I have 2 wheels, but first I want to finish one system here to see if it works. I installed the little blue vise here on my milling machine because I didn't install the bigger grey one, so it's a small blue one. And I will do 4 parts at the same time, like this. And here I have a 16mm 2-flute cutter that I don't use much because I don't use it much. Right, let's make them all same height. Alright, let's drill some holes in these things. And this is more or less the idea. And I think it will work just fine. Right, I think I'm ready to do some welding. I just welded it on with 2 little tack welds here, that's all. Because I first want to give it a go on the machine itself. You never know if something doesn't work on it. So let's go over there, let's see if it fits. That looks promising. Right, let's take these original bolts out with my, again, brand new tool here. That last week's video I showed that my brand new Allen key thing here, that I broke it. But they gave me another one at the store, so no problem. And by the way, these are the 2 only threaded rods I have to put in here. Because in the store they ran out of, but we'll see. To make it a little bit easier to work, I installed 2 blocks of wood below here, so I don't rely on the hydraulics, but wood. Safety first.
And my two only threaded rods I have, they seem to fit very well. Good. Right, let's install the tram wheel. That looks promising. I think this could work very well. Now, of course, I'm gonna cut off these two long pieces, of course. Right, let's go back to the workshop, weld this thing up, and then of course make the other one, and hope that before the end of the week I will have new threaded rods.
I think it was a good idea to go over there and do a little test fit. So now I know that it could work, at least it fits. The only thing I have to do is to move this clamp system up here, or maybe flip the thing around, because it has to be on top here and not on the bottom, but that will be a quick fix. So now I think it's time to make the second one. It's just that there's of course, as always, one little problem. This is the only pipe I have. No, not really, because this is a leftover of my anvil stand.
This piece here is exactly the same pipe as the other one I have in the workshop. And I really don't want to cut.
The first pipe I made, I cut this little surface here by hand with the angle grinder. And to have it more square, now this one I give it a go in the lathe and it works perfectly fine. Now it's a bit a scary setup, so I take very light cuts, but it works. And this should be it. Of course, 2 times. Right, let's go back over there and see if we can mount these things on the machine.
On this side, things went very well. Right, let's do the other side and hope for the best on that side too. And this side went even better than the other side. Right, let's put this thing on the rails.
And this is where I will end this video, because I had to stop working because it started raining again. And working in the rain isn't fun. Now this yellow thing you see me using here in this clip is not what we're gonna use as front wheels, because it doesn't work. But stay tuned, I have maybe another solution.